I think this might be a 6 upload day. SmackDown, Rampage, Dynamite, NXT, Raw, Rumble predictions. I think I'm up for it. I'm starting a little bit backwards though. So, let's start off with Beach Break. And yes, I watched the last 3 recent wrestling shows from Dynamite, NXT 2.0, and Raw conclusively since 1 o'clock all the way to right now, which is 7. So that means I watched about 7 hours of TV, 7 hours of wrestling, which is goddamn crazy. First and foremost, what the hell, if you're gonna do a beach break, do it in like the south part of the United States, like Florida, Texas, any place that's warm. Why the hell are you going to Cleveland, Ohio, of all the places? Because that really throws the concept of the show off. Like, it's still very much winter, especially in Cleveland, and there's no beaches there unless you want to freeze your dick off. That's really pretty much it. We started off with the TNT Undisputed Championship ladder match. My thought was, of all the ladder matches that I watched in my life, this was the most unnecessary ladder match of all time. Like, the reason for it is because the reason of it, if Sammy was going to win, why did Cody have to have the title to begin with? Why did Cody beat Sammy first in order to win the TNT title? Only have, I think 1 defense of the title, then have to not be there for protocol because of protocol, and then lose the title afterwards. Doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't. And like, the whole thought of it was just like, there's so many unnecessary spots within the match. Let me start from the very beginning. I literally just want Cody to turn heel, because he can be the best character in wrestling if he does. And also there were some big ass ladders at the AEW in Cleveland in Beach Break. But just as a side note, for any ladder match, I wanted to start immediately with ladder warfare. Grab a ladder, an immediate weapon, use it, and then all hands on deck instead of basic wrestling bullshit. I'm someone that loves technical wrestling for sure, but when it comes to a ladder match, it needs to start off like that. It needs to start off with the intention of, hey, I need to get the ladder. I need to get this now so I can win the championship or win the contract or win the briefcase. I need the ladder. And then weapon use, all hands on that. That's when I honestly wanted to be like a hardcore match. For real. And like, Cody's back was still ugly as hell from the flaming table, which is unnecessary, by the way. And then there was Dickhead Dan and Scorpio Sky watching from the press box, which we saw because they flashed a light up there. We knew they were going to be sitting up there. There was a figure 4 in the rungs of the ladder. There was a suplex from the top of the ladder, which I already mentioned. A face front suplex that basically messed up Sammy's knees, legs, ribs, all of that. And then Sammy just no-sold for a little bit, which was like, how the hell do you no-sell all of that? And then this man did a springboard cutter from off a goddamn ladder. It was crazy. It was crazy, but at the same time, all of this really felt unnecessary because, yeah, this was just like, if Sammy was going to win the match, why did Sammy lose the title to begin with? Cody didn't need the TNT title whatsoever. Cody didn't need another reign as TNT champion. Did he just have to beat Sammy just for the fuck of it? Instead, why not Sammy go over and then Sammy and Cody face off in a ladder match to determine the proven winner? Instead of this ridiculousness that now puts Sammy at a 2-1 deficit still because he's lost to Cody twice. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. And I just feel so confused of it. And there was too many spots. Why did it need so many spots? That is what I really need to question. And then the senton off the top of the ladder onto the ladder, which did not break. It was brutal, I will say this. And does anyone else think that Jim Ross has become another commentator instead of the head commentator he's been his entire career? It just seems like another guy that's just another commentator that's just there. Like Byron Saxton on Monday Night Raw. Yeah, I said it. Like, he just feels that way. Jim Ross has died down severely ever since going to AEW. But it was just an unnecessary ladder match with an unnecessary amount of spots for no reason whatsoever that did not need to exist. We had Team Taz interview. Wait, Cleveland has a beach? Where do they have a beach at? Where? There's no... Why would Cleveland have a beach if it's gonna be cold 99% of the time? Anyways, Team Taz interview, Dante versus Hobbs one more time, and then Jay Lethal versus Ricky Starks for the FTW title. Okay. Wardlow was in action. He had a little bit of a powerbomb fest and won. Goodbye, next. He's going to break away from the Pinnacle soon. I know he is. The Trios match. 2.0 was already in the ring when Inner Circle with Chris Jericho, Santana, and Ortiz making their entrance. Judas is still fucking awesome. But this was mid. If Jericho was on the apron throughout the entirety of the match, except for the opening in which Santana tagged himself in, then Ortiz had like a bit where he was building up the hot tag to Jericho, but instead looked at Jericho in his eyes, saw the hand, was aiming for the hand, and then Santana. Jericho still had an effect in the win. Of course he did. He hit the Judas effect. I think it was on 1 or 2.0. It was on 1 or 2.0. I can't think of who it was. But it was mid. It was mid at best. That's it. Lance Archer and Adam Page had a little promo segment. It's gonna be Lance's fight for the AEW World Title in a Texas Death Match next week. Everybody dies, right? Give me the blackout. Choke slam me to the abyss. I will climb back through all 9 layers and bring hell with me. That was a great line by Hangman Adam Page. I'm actually very excited for that AEW World Title match next week on Dynamite or this Wednesday. Jurassic Express and Private Party had a little bit of a confrontation. When you're the champions, what Christian said, everybody's gunning for you, but nobody cares. Matt Hardy really said. Nobody cares about the Ass Boys or Christian. It's about Private Party and Rampage. There will be a tag team title match. Pretty much it. Yeah, they're going back to Chicago again for 5 times in the last 2 months. I have no idea why they've gone back to Chicago so many times. It makes 0 sense. My God. Cleveland, CM Punk. He's sick of talking. We're not sick of him talking yet, but he's sick of talking. He just wanted MJF, and MJF came out, had a little bit of a word for word battle again. Still, the crowd felt a bit dry, but the battle and mic work is still superb between those two on everything. And regardless, it dragged on. And now we have a match next week in Chicago. It's like CM Punk said hello to Cleveland. He called out MJF. MJF came out, basically said his spiel, diss Cleveland, diss Chicago, diss Punk. Punk wanted MJF to get laced up and handle his business on his own at that moment, but of course, Pinnacle came out. It felt like Wardlow had a little bit of a turn coming in, but he didn't. He didn't turn. He just gave the powerbomb onto the chair, which was, that was bad. That left a good mark on Punk's back. I will not lie. The Acclaim Bowens has a match against Jon Moxley this Friday or tonight on Rampage. Interesting. Britt Baker then and then we had another rundown of what was coming up on Dynamite with the first Julia Hart getting a TBS title match against Jade Cargill. Okay. Layla Hirsch versus Red Velvet did not belong on network TV. Why was this on Dynamite? It did not need to be on Dynamite. I had zero interest in this match. I actually, honestly, without even lying to you, I just fast forward on to the next thing, which then turned out to be a House of Black promo, which was really good, of course. As Mr. Rose said, is what Malachi Black said, he added insult to injury, gave the audience the embodiment of carnage and violence. And as they were whispering in his ear, we are thankful for him. And then Brody King comes, said Pac has disowned the House of Black for too long, and he will watch as the Death Triangle get dismembered, and soon he will say thank you. Which now Noah has a match next week between the House of Black versus Pac and Penta El Zero Miedo, which is okay. Sammy Guevara had a little bit of a cue card promo thing saying thank you to the fans, and he's the winner and still standing tall with no controversy. And then Britt Baker comes out for a very, very boring, long promo, which just, again, like the Punk MJF thing, it dragged on, but I had no interest in this. So I took a big shot to Cleveland with, first off, coming in the Pittsburgh Steelers colors. Two teams that are not in the conference title or in the playoffs right now at the moment, like Pittsburgh and Cleveland and Philly. It's been a while since she's talked, and it felt like for a while that when Punk and MJF were in the ring, they couldn't stop talking about her. Since she won the title, she has 9 victories. Cleveland and Baker share a same stat with 9 sacks that Baker got. I got instantly bored of that segment. I got instantly bored at that moment. And then the division was a wasteland. Cleveland Browns got a little bit of a chant in there. Became the face of AEW. She's made history and still does. She's not only going to be the female wrestler of the year. Well, she's not my female wrestler of the year. Honestly, she wasn't my female wrestler of the year. I think my female wrestler of the year was Bianca Belair. She was absolutely sensational. Top to bottom, had the best year of any woman in the history of wrestling. So, like, Rumble, Mania, sure, she lost the title ugly, but hell, she had a strong showing from Royal Rumble all the way to Survivor Series, even to the end of the year. Bianca Belair was fucking awesome. Something about 10, but then 10 incompletions, and then JR had the same thing, same expression as I said, which was like, ugh. And she wants to be female of the decade. You ain't gonna get that far, Britt. I think female of the decade most likely will either belong to Becky, Charlotte, Sasha, or Bianca, depending on, even if Tessa Blanchard even shows back up in wrestling, which I believe she will, because Tessa was, for a moment, the best women's wrestler in the world. My opinion, if she shows up anywhere, she's going to be top women's wrestler in the world. Simple as that. We got a Rampage rundown, which also included FTR and Brock recap. Excuse me! Oh my god. Oh, I just hurt my ears again. That really hurt. My ears are falling off again. Why is everything ringing? Nyla Rose said that she should be TBS champion, but isn't due to Ruby Soho and a fluke victory, so she challenged Ruby Soho next week. Woo, I need my hearing back. My God. So we got a rundown of Dynamite for this coming Wednesday, and then the Lights Out match was the best thing on the show, which also included a very dumb finish. The hug. Adam Cole could have broke out at any minute or at any time. He stood there. And it's like, he didn't. Cassidy, I know, has one of the best gimmicks in the world where he doesn't even try. But, come on. Make it believable. Make it somewhat believable that the finish is going to end the way it's going to end. That felt non-believable whatsoever. And it's like, why? Why? Adam could have easily escaped, but he didn't, which made it all the more limp due to Adam easily shaking right off. I just don't get it. There were so many things good about it. And Howson, of all the people, is a great fit for AEW. A good fit, I should say. And those chairs aren't comfortable at all where the Justin Roberts and the crew are sitting, because they're sitting on turnbuckle pads, which is weird, of all the things. And Orange Cassidy had great selling of his, I believe, his right hand, which got messed up from the ring bell from the orange punch and then stomped on into the steel steps. There were actually blood on his hand, which was actually really good selling by him. He had a burst of adrenaline, hit the orange punch, and when he did, he sold it perfectly. It was great selling. He even hit a Panama Sunrise. But I think the whole ending to the match will throw it off a bit because of how it all went down. It was so limp. That hug and then the fall through the stage. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. Like, it was bad. It was bad for me. And I enjoyed the match. I really did. I really enjoyed the Lights Out match. All the Lights Out matches that have happened in AEW, I've enjoyed them a lot. Particularly, this one was the least. This one was the worst. And the ending was absolutely terrible. By far. Overall, and I know I'm probably going to get heat on this, but then again, I might also get more comments of like what the worst one was. This was the worst episode of Dynamite I've ever watched. I really didn't enjoy a lot of everything on this show except for the main event until the ending. CM Punk and MJF's promo battle up until the 4-on-1 assault. And that was it. The ladder match wasn't fun to me. It was unnecessary. The women's match was... Get it out of here. And then, my God, that 6-man trio match. Why? Terrible, uninteresting, or unnecessary. One of those three, you can say it. This was a 1 out of 5. A dud. A terrible show of Dynamite for a lot of just what I just described. I mean, you can tell me how much you enjoyed Dynamite in the comments. I will be looking. If you did enjoy Dynamite, I'm not going to knock you for it. I'm never knocking anybody if they enjoyed something or didn't enjoy something, because it's your personal preference. For me, I just didn't enjoy this episode of Dynamite. I really did not like this episode due to everything that happened on the show, which felt unnecessary and what felt like terrible and uninteresting. It dragged, and at the same time, it went limp. But I'll leave that to you. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm about to upload 6 videos tonight. This is gonna take a long time. Trust me, this ain't gonna be fun. And at the same time, I'm all up for it because I'm willing to make this happen. I know I've been off for a while. I've been doing this back and forth, saying I'm gonna upload weekly and then not upload weekly. Honestly, it just depends on the energy amount that I'm taking. It just depends on the energy that I have within me, because there's so much happening in my life, and I'm trying to make as much happen as I possibly can. But don't worry, I'm not done with YouTube just yet. Peace until the next 5 videos that are going to come up later tonight. Be safe.